Alright guys, so let's jump right into the sauce. If you got your ballots, then you can go click the link that goes to the voting portal and you should have a code emailed to you, and you will just put in that code and click submit. So I'm going to put in that code, click submit, and I'll see you guys on the next page. Alright, so you should get dropped into this page, to which you can really just scroll all the way to the bottom, though I do recommend reading all this stuff. Remember that your response is required by September 22, 2023 at 4 p.m. EST. So scrolling all the way to the bottom of ballot form, you'll just click continue, and then you'll be dropped to the amount of allowed account holder claims. So you can see I have quite a bit of Bitcoin and Ethereum in it, not as much as Tiffany Fong, but still. So all I have is the class 5 general earn claims, because I only used earn. So I have about 23K in that, and I can elect on all of these things that they have listed here. So with respect to withdrawal preference exposure, you're really only going to have an amount, as far as I understand, if you withdrew 90 days before bankruptcy. So I didn't do that, so my amount is 0. So I'm going to go ahead and click next. So here's the guide for filling out this account holder ballot. Just a note, if you make any of the elections contained in item 5 or item 6 of the account holder ballot, that's automatically counted as a vote to accept the plan. Anyways, you should read this and we'll just click next. So item 3. Now with respect to retail board deposit claims, I'm not going to talk about that because I'm not a borrower and I'm not qualified to talk about that. So we're just going to click next. So convenience claims, I'm not even part of that either. So we're just going to click next. Plus you're already getting cryptocurrency back, 70% of recovery. So I was on a lot of spaces and nobody talked about withhold claims. But if you have withhold, this is something to take note of. Treatment A and B. It's a vote to accept the plan and a vote not to accept the plan respectively. Depending on which one you choose, you're gonna get different things. Like for A, you're gonna get distribution of 15% of the crypto, and remaining 85% of the value is coming from a pro rata distribution of unsecured claim distribution consideration. That is not the case with treatment B. It's completely different. There is no number as to how they're going to distribute the pro rata share. So that is something that you have to consider. Something to watch out for. So here is something that you have to watch out for. Leave this unchecked. Accept the convenience claim election. Well, unless you have less than $7,000 of crypto, I would not click this, because if you click this, whatever amount you have, let's say 10K, you're gonna reduce that to $5,000, and then to make it even worse, they're gonna give you 70% of that $5,000, and then you're done. That means that whatever they get out of litigation from Mashinsky or Nuco, you're not going to get any of that. You're just taking the $3,500 and you're gone. So if you have a lot of money in this, I will highly suggest not checking that. But remember, none of this is financial, legal, or tax advice. So make sure that you know what you're clicking. So let's click next. All right, so this is item 6, where you can choose whether to get more Nuco stock and whether to get more crypto. And you can see they made it that it's really stacked for them they really want you to pick the Nuco. They really want you to have more risk. And for me, I am really gonna go for the no election, and I'm gonna talk about why. So on Friday, Simon Dixon went through his part 3 of his recovery strategy, which talked about the governance, and the new Celsius plan supplement came in within the weekend. He looked through it, and what we found out was that they made some changes. In the plan supplement, they said that there are 3 sponsored board members, 2 mutual independent board members, 2 UCC independent board members, and 2 UCC board members, 1 unnamed board observer, and 0 non-UCC credit board members. So the last 2 are the governance issues, because everybody has been involved with this plan up until now, but there was no outside creditor coming in that didn't have a prior relationship with these people, is how I understand it. So the problem is that there is just no creditor that hasn't been a part of this inner process in the seat of the board members. And I'm just reading 0 to 1 right now by Peter Thiel, and he always said that any company with a board member around 10 people, that is a very, very big risk. So with the governance structure, it just doesn't seem so good to me. Now on September 15th, which was yesterday, I also did hop on the space with the discussion with Asher Janut, who is part of Fahrenheit, and I did learn some things from that guy. And I would say that he's pretty trustworthy from how he sounds like, because I did get a lot of knowledge from him, and that he mentioned that the time to build is really in the bear, which is where we are in right now, and not the bull run. And it did make some sense of how he talked about machines, that it's not all about buying the newest machines when it comes to Bitcoin mining, but really thinking about the ROI of the machines, really calculating the return on investments and the cost of the machines. And apparently when Fahrenheit does things, how they do it is that they really ask about, all right, what's going to be the cost of the hash rate? And they also have projected Bitcoin prices to see how much money that they would get in from running a Bitcoin mining rig. And there's something else that he mentioned that I didn't even think about, in that when the bull run does happen, there's probably going to be a shortage supply of miners. That is a point, because with the old machines that they have, if it is profitable, then they can take those machines and sell them at a higher price than they could get in the bear market right now. Because in the bull market, people will be all gung-ho and energized, and you could sell an older machine for a higher price. So at the end of that discussion, I was like, this guy's really smart. He taught me something. But at the same time, with how they written out item 6, with the new co-equity distribution or the liquid cryptocurrency distribution, which one that you prefer? I prefer neither. So it's really like Goldilocks, right? One is too hot, one is too cold, the one in the middle is just right, and the one in the middle for me is no election, because I'm happy with a pretty even split of liquid crypto, because the difference between liquid crypto and doing a no election is basically around $1,000. I mean, $1,000 is not much to me, might be a lot to you, but I am happy with that, and I am happy with getting around like $3,000 of Nuco common stock. So I'm picking a no election, so you can go ahead and click next. Item 7 is custody claim information to be reviewed by holder of claims in class 6A. I am not part of that group, so I am just gonna click next. Now, class claim settlement opt-out, you have to read this whole thing. So with regards to item 8, do not check this box. By checking this box, you elect to opt out of the class claim settlement as set forth above. So don't check the box, click next. Again, not financial advice, not legal advice, but if you don't want to hire your own lawyer and go after Mashinsky for your claims, then that is why you leave that box unchecked. In addition, there are going to be people that's going to opt out, that has the money to hire their own lawyers and go after Mashinsky. They're not going to take part of this 105% return that you'll get if you participate in the class claim, because there's going to be some people that don't participate. They're not going to get that 105%, and what they give up will actually go to you. So that's how I understand this is going to work. So if you are basically a 9-to-5er and you put an insane amount of money like I did into Celsius thinking it's going to do something, but it didn't, then this is where you uncheck that box. So the item 9, vote on plan, and I'm going to click accept vote for the plan. And then I'm gonna click next. And then with the third-party releases, you don't want to opt out of the third-party releases. So you wanna leave that box unchecked, and Aaron Bennett would basically give you the same advice, because I watched his video before making this one. So not legal advice or anything, but the reasons why we picked the two choices of voting for the plan is because we already spent like $350 million, I think, on getting to this point and getting a distribution plan. If we don't accept the plan, basically what will happen is we'll have to start all over again, and that's gonna spend more of creditor money on lawyers and making plans and looking for people to make a plan like with Fahrenheit. So we don't have time to do all that, and I don't want to burn more money and pay the lawyers even more. So that's why we're voting for the plan. With the third-party releases, what's happening with that is basically how I understand it, not legal advice. You're a third party, I'm a third party. The people doing the good work of trying to clean up this mess, they're third parties, and they don't want to be sued for anything that comes out of this that might not have been intended, or we didn't expect that. So Alex Mashinsky and the villains, they're not included in that. So basically we're just releasing the good guys, the guys that are trying to fix this, but with the bad guys, the villains, we're still holding them accountable. That's how I understand that part of the document, so I'm leaving that unchecked. So item 11, contributed claims, is similar to the class claim. That is, for any claims that you have, you're gonna give that to the litigation administrator, and they're going to go after whoever they need to go after for you. So by checking this box, you elect to contribute your contributed claims to the litigation administration. You want to do this because if you don't do this, then you'll need to hire your own lawyer. I don't have the money to hire my own lawyer. So whatever I get back, if I were to hire my own lawyer, I'm just going to give that to the litigation administrator, and whatever they get back, we'll just distribute it among the creditors who got screwed by Celsius. So with that said, let's click next. So with this part, I don't think this is gonna apply to like 99% of the people. So basically how I understand it, because this is really complicated, is that if you are under 100K, then none of this will apply to you. So you just leave this box unchecked because you will have no withdrawal preference exposure amount, because this is going to apply to people who withdrew within the 90 days before bankruptcy. And to be more specific, the people who withdrew more than 100K, how I think this is going to happen is that they have to pay back 27.5% of what their withdrawal preference exposure is. So I'm not too sure on how this works, but if you're under 100K of withdrawals within that 90 days, I don't think this applies to you, but I could be wrong. But this doesn't apply to me, so I'm just gonna click next. So other than that, on item 13, just put in your signature and you'll be good. So guys, that's basically how you submit your vote. Now, I can't tell you what to do because none of this is legal, financial, or tax advice. And my situation is I'm just an earned creditor. I don't have loans or anything. So with regards to loans, you have to ask a different person. But if you're just an earned creditor like me, you might want to vote in the same way as me. I am a 9-to-5 salaryman on the rat race, so I don't have the money to afford lawyers or anything like that. And this is basically the decision that I came to of what's best for me, which may not be the best for you, but the only person that can make that decision is yourself. Other than that, guys, if you haven't checked out my other Celsius video on the tax thing, then check it out right there.